Washington football. Woo!
A long 5 seconds.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my co-host, Michael Reed, and welcome to our holiday special. It is Christmas Eve, December 24th. The Washington football team is facing Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, but this is a special episode, not only just because of being holiday and Christmas Eve, but we have on our family that we consider of the podcast and of the Washington football team community, the UK joining us, Mr. Andy Burrows. Oi! And
Oi.
Mr. Scott Hartley. Oi! Want to say thank
Oi.
you for your service, Scott, by the way, service member, and huge fan of ours. First thing I got to ask, how are you guys feeling?
It's Christmas, my friend. My house looks like Santa's grotto at the minute, buddy, but it's a pleasure to come and spend Christmas. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather do on Christmas Eve than hang out with you guys. So happy holidays to you all.
Of course, and right back at you, Andy.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. My house is pretty much similar to Andy's. We're waiting for the big. I'm not talking about Tamarick Hemingway, if you know what I'm saying.
Apparently huge.
You do not want him coming down your chimney.
No, but that actually happened to a friend of mine. He went down his chimney. It was like he was hanging out over there for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, the first thing that we have to talk about here, a lot has happened with the COVID list. We had some people get put on the COVID list. Some guys get taken off. As of today, as of this moment, Cornelius Lucas is activated. Will Bradley King, Cam Curl's a big one. Both quarterbacks from last week, Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen are here, and then also Kendall Fuller. Unfortunately, it looks like Landon Collins and William Jackson III are not suiting up on Sunday. Scott, how concerned are you with this? Do you think that getting back Cam Curl and Kendall Fuller is enough defensively? Because we saw when those guys were out, when William Jackson III went out on Tuesday night, things really went bad in the passing game. Are you confident that Cam Curl and Kendall Fuller could step in and do well against the Dallas Cowboys and that vaunted offense?
I would say I'm fairly confident, but I'm happy they're back off the COVID list. Kendall Fuller and Cam Curl make a huge difference to what we've had, especially against the Eagles when we watched that game. Fuller's been, his usual self, getting interceptions throughout the season, so he's a bit of a ball hawk. The same with Cam Curl. He can play in as a makeshift linebacker or in at safety. For me, I am a little bit concerned, and my biggest concern is how we keep them wide receivers quiet. They have got a lot of speed on the outside and in the slot. I'm especially worried about CeeDee Lamb. He always seems to torch us every time we play Dallas, unfortunately. William Jackson III, he started to come on probably halfway through the season, so it is quite a big loss. And Landon Collins is even bigger loss. He's really started to play. As soon as we moved him to the downhill safety, shall we say, he's become a really key player. I'm actually quite glad we've got him for another couple of seasons, to be honest. And yes, it's a lot of money to pay, and it's likely that he could be a cap casualty, but I wouldn't mind him staying around. I think he deserves to stay after the season he's had. So yeah, them two being out is going to be a bit of a big loss for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I totally do agree with you. But I will say, Dallas's offense, they're number one in yards per game. They average 400 yards per. But one thing is that they're sixth in the league with rushing the football and running the football. So they're very effective on the ground in that. And one player that got put on the COVID list this week, Andy, Cole Holcomb, who is the signal caller on defense. We don't know 100% if he's starting on Sunday. The title for this episode is No Cole for Christmas. We don't know yet. But are you concerned with Cole? Because unlike the secondary, it doesn't look like we're getting guys back in that capacity.
I think it's a huge miss. I think I spoke with Doug last week and said, he's becoming such a reliable player for us in a up and down season where you're not quite sure who you can depend on and who you can't. He is one that will not let you down. He's Mr. Reliable, as I've said. So yeah, it is worrying. I mean, especially now, we know what we have to do now. We pretty much have to win all our games. We need all our players, and COVID is still playing havoc it's across the league. It's not just Washington, but we need a kind of miracle to happen. Yeah. Can it happen? Sure, why not? I mean, we could win all our games, but what a time to have all this COVID stuff happen again. We sat here this time last year and we were all like, well, hopefully this time next season, COVID will be gone. And here we are again. It's raising its ugly head. But yeah, Holcomb, yeah, honestly, one of the unsung heroes for me in Washington. So he goes under the radar, but I said it about a few players now. I said it about Adam Humphries as well. When you need something to happen,
Yep.
These are the type of players you look for. That like the people that don't get the headlines. Unbelievable player, the big miss.
Except for that touchdown in the end zone last game.
Well, yeah, hit him on the chest. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that was that
was bad. But I will say, to your credit, Andy, about the unsung hero with Cole Holcomb. I mean, he's played all but 13 snaps this season. Has over 120 tackles combined on the season. Obviously, he has been that one consistent factor in the middle of that defense, getting guys in position. You can say whatever you want about the defense, but losing Cole, that would be huge for this defense. But, Reed, I want to start this conversation now. Let's just say Cole Holcomb can't go, and they need somebody to call plays on defense. Who would be that person? Do you trust it would be Jamin Davis? Because I'm not sure if he'd be ready for it.
Right. I mean, would I trust it? No, not necessarily, but it almost kind of becomes him by necessity at that point. I mean, you just look at how thin they are. Jamin Davis, he's still learning to play inside linebacker and getting acclimated to the NFL. But this is something that he's going to have to do. And with the season at this point already, a trial by fire right now. So they are going to. I would imagine it would be Jamin Davis. But you guys are right. Losing Cole Holcomb is just he's been far and away, light years. He's been our best linebacker. It's not even close. And so that's huge. And plus the guy's got a top 2 mullet of all time in the NFL. And you can't replace that.
No,
I mean, it's business in the front, party in the back. That's actually its slogan. So
yeah, and he lives it. He really does. And look, Cole Holcomb is huge to this defense. But before I get carried away and too far along, I just wanted to say the Burgundy Zone is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more at www.listenfrederick.com. Now, Scott, I wanted to ask you, who do you think should be calling the plays on defense if Cole Holcomb can't go? Because one player on the top of my head is Bobby McCain. He's been the one consistent factor. Whenever you look at the secondary before pre-snap, generally he's the one that's communicating with guys, because if it wasn't for Bobby McCain, I would say it would be Landon Collins. He's also one of the guys that's been communicating a lot, but obviously he can't go. So who do you think would be calling the plays on defense if Cole can't go?
I think you're right in saying it probably would be McCain, because Collins is out by the look of it. I don't know who suits up in linebacker in replacement. Is it Mayo? Is it Norris? I'm not sure where you go from there. And we're asking a lot of what was a first round draft pick who has been lukewarm to say the least. Looking at the middle linebacker, I think as Reed says, he's going to have to be there from necessity. He tried out snaps in preseason and the start of the season, so I think that's where it starts from there. Yeah, it's a tough one. I think McCain will probably have the green dot, and he would call it out, and I think that's where we'll go from there. The other thing that you said before about Dallas not being able to stop the run, a bit of a worry there with Antonio Gibson. Just listening to Coach Rom's press conference just before then, he was saying not likely he's going to suit up at all. He hasn't practiced all week, so again, where are we going from here?
Yeah, and that's such a great point by you. Andy, real quick, who do you think should get it? One player, I will say, that I thought that should have stepped up as a leader of this defense, especially in that secondary with the linebackers playing as poorly as they were early on. I think Cam Curl. I think he could easily be one of those guys. He's more of a quieter guy. He not really a rah-rah type of guy, but if anyone is smart enough to do it and as capable of showing that they are a leader in playing with their ability, I think it is Cam. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. We say about Davis, but I think Cam has to be. If you just look for an experience standpoint, he is probably the man with the most experience. I mean, Jamin Davis is, who knows? This could be a breakout game for him. Now, this could be this time where they say, hey, do you know what? He might take this on his shoulders and go, look, he might see it as a game. Look, people don't expect us to win. We're riddled by COVID. He might say, hey, people have, we've only got to scroll through social media the last 2 to 3 weeks to see what people are thinking about this guy. He's a bust. He's this, he's that. He might go, do you know what? I'm going to go into Dallas's backyard. I'm going to call a game for Washington's defense when no one else is really around. Like you say, you've got Mayo, Carl, Davis, the team's depleted. What have you got to lose? Go in there and call a game, and you never know. On any given Sunday, anything could happen. And it could be the time where, he finally, we know he can do it, but it's just now getting him to do it, so to speak.
It's tough because this is the exact reason why we kept somebody like John Bostic this offseason. For him to be there, he's such a veteran. He's so smart. He knows the league so well. And I mean, obviously his play wasn't the best, but I mean, he's such a veteran. He knows the NFL. But so losing him, I think this is where you're really going to start to miss him a lot.
Yeah, and I think Landon Collins being without him this weekend,
He
is
would
going to
be
huge.
clear cut the guy who's going to call the plays, but
Yeah.
since he's not playing, it's
Well, not only that, his playmaking ability.
he's been
yeah, ever since like the first month of the season, he has been playing like a man possessed. What we thought, what we had heard all training camp about how well he was playing. The season started, we were kind of like, oh, what's going on here? But that makes me bring up a really good point, and that was the question that Scott Hartley had given to us for this episode. And
Scott Hartley did.
Yes, he did. I think that guy's here. Is he
going to answer his own question?
Yes, he is. And it's a great one because I know he wants to answer it. Who has been the biggest disappointment this season for Washington?
Yeah. So for me, initially, I would have said the defense was, as a whole, was the biggest disappointment. Such a massive build-up in the offseason. Every ESPN analyst, everything on NFL Network, we're listening to it. Maybe we bought into it too much. We saw what happened last season, and we thought, hey, this can go on. Getting Jamin Davis was a find, and we were like, this is going to be a brilliant breakout. This defense is going to be definitely top 5, if not top 1 or 2. Then it just went nowhere. After that, I don't know, really. There's been 2 probable players that I could say the biggest disappointment would be, and one is Jamin Davis, and the other one is Curtis Samuel. I don't know whether you think that's.
I would have said.
Yeah, I would have said Curtis Samuel as well.
Yeah, I would have said Curtis Samuel.
But the man,
if you think about this offseason, all we were talking about was how this wide receiver course finally, like from top to bottom, we've got like 5 players out there that are going to be fantastic. We've had 1. 2. I'll give Adam Humphries that. He's been very solid. Hasn't really produced huge stats, but Curtis Samuel, man, and I know it's you kind of have to put an asterisk next to his name because it's been because of a lingering injury, but it's still like you expect a little bit more when he is playing, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating as hell. But Diami Brown as well. He's somebody we all had high hopes for. And you can't expect that much out of a rookie, so maybe it's unfair of us. But another person, I'm just going to throw it out there, and again, this isn't fair because of his injury, but Ryan Fitzpatrick. Think about what everybody was talking about all season was how well Fitz was going to be doing, and then he goes out and allegedly, I'll say that for legal reasons, gets hurt at a water park. I don't know if that's been debunked or not yet, but it's true. I've heard. So it's frustrating, and really, but you're right. The defense as a whole, I think, is the number 1 unit.
Yeah, and my biggest disappointment, and it really hurts me to say this, because I don't want to. I truly do believe in them, but it's Montez Sweat and Chase Young, because before the season started, they talked about getting that sack record. I know that Chase has been hurt along with Montez, but early on in the season, and when you look at the third down conversion rate for this football team, right now they are on defense 31st in the league, 49%. They're giving up a first down on third down to opposing offenses. It's putrid. It was actually a lot worse early on in the season, but a lot of that can change with pressure to the quarterback, and that did not exist. This secondary, when they were gelling, they needed that help, and that was not coming. So for me, biggest disappointment by far is Chase and Montez. I don't think that that's all she wrote. I think Chase Young could be the most dominant pass rusher that this league has ever seen. It's just putting the tools together, and it takes time, a lot like Jamin Davis does. So that's how I kind of feel about it, but it sucks to say it, but that's how I feel. What about you, Andy?
Brandon Sheriff.
Ooh.
I'm I think
happy about it though.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, what is it Keith said? He's just a big dude that gets paid a lot of money. I mean, He always injured, and for me,
Keith, though.
Keith he's just a big dude. He's just maybe a big dude with no money.
Gets injured.
He gets injured, but for me, I'm done with the guy. Really, I mean, I don't think he wants to be in Washington, and I want players to buy into what we're doing. And just the impression I get, I could be completely wrong. Come next season, I mean, money's going to talk again. But for me, I'm kind of past him, and I just think he lets the team down too much. Whether it's on the field, I mean, injury wise, I'm just kind of done with the guy, but I would gladly be proved wrong at the start of next season if he's still here.
Yeah, and
right.
Sorry.
Oops, can I throw one out there? This is something I can't believe I completely forgot about this person. This is like number one. I was sizing him up all offseason. William Jackson III. He's played a little bit better. I think he gets a lot of hate, and you don't really know what's going on. Sometimes it's not necessarily warranted. Even he will give up a big play every once in a while, but I was expecting this guy to come in and be a top 5 corner in the NFL. I mean, he's so naturally talented and with this defense, but he's underperformed big time.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. And
no, I know you would. Yeah.
And one thing I'll say about Brandon Sheriff, him not being available, obviously, job security, you have to be able to be on the field to do well. And one thing I will say, I remember I wrote that column for the BurgundyZone.com during the bye week. And I said, maybe the running game will get better once Brandon Sheriff comes back. And we have to remember, they dominated time of possession for those 4 games that Brandon Sheriff did come back. But to Andy's point, you have to be here. You know what I mean? You have to be accessible and be on the field to be used, and getting paid as much as he is. I know that he just got nominated to the Pro Bowl. I'm not going to disagree with it. I'm really happy for Brandon Sheriff because it's going to translate the money for him, and I'm really happy about that.
He's going to get enough this offseason anyway.
I'm not really sure what goes into that formula because the one person that definitely deserved it was Jonathan Allen. I mean, he has literally been the only thing on this defense so far this season. And going to Scott's next question, who has been the most underrated player this season, Reed?
I'm going to go with Eric Flowers. Eric Flowers has been fantastic. He's probably, look, Charles Leno's been awesome. He's been one of the better left tackles in the NFL. But Eric Flowers, think about his story. He goes from a complete bust with a division rival, goes to the Jaguars, he sucks again. Then he comes here, he switches positions, he plays well, goes to Miami, but comes back here, and all of a sudden he's dominating again. This guy looks fantastic. He's bringing up, he's making analysts talk about the Hogs like this guy's just nasty. He should have made the Pro Bowl, to be completely honest. Sheriff made it because of his name. Eric Flowers should have, if we're talking about play, but it is what it is. But I'm going to go with Eric Flowers for sure.
Eric Flowers to go, and Brian Baldinger, I think, would agree with you on
Baldy
that.
loves him.
He loves him. What about you, Scott? Who do you think is the most underrated player so far this season?
I've got 3, and I'm going to put them all out there.
Just give me one. Give me one.
One.
Best one.
Okay. Cameron Cheeseman. I know
there you go.
But I've got to give my specialists a bit of love. We no one wanted Nick Sundberg to go. No one. Great guy off the field.
Right.
Great guy off the field. But we have to look at it and think to ourselves, he has not missed a beat, Cheeseman. He's no low snaps. He's been fantastic. I
can see Reed's brain thinking of a cheese joke really quickly.
I have it. That's all I've been doing.
Yeah, I can see it. I can physically see it ticking over.
The gears are turning. Nothing's home. Nothing's home.
That's a great one.
I think he's been a good find.
Yeah.
John Bates, he really truly has. I agree with you on that aspect because he doesn't have the stat numbers that blow up, but like every time he catches the football, it's a very important time, and he always catches it, and he always gets yards after the catch, and his blocking is obviously incredible. Him and Ricky Seals-Jones have done a great job to this point. What about you, Andy? Who's somebody you think that deserves some credit and been underrated so far?
One thing that's always bothered me about Washington is special teams, and DeAndre Carter for me this season, when if it's a kickoff return or whatever it is, I don't worry anymore. I used to be thinking, oh God, we're going to fumble this. Something's going to happen here. I feel in safe hands with him he is lightning quick. And, sometimes they put him out a wide receiver. For me, it's a position that finally I don't have to worry about in Washington. It's one of the random positions, but I don't have to worry about it. And for me, DeAndre Carter is a unsung hero. I think he's done really well. Yeah,
for me, the second year in a row, I think it's Cameron Curl. I thought last season that he deserved a lot more credit for the way that he played.
He still got more credit last season than he has this season.
Yeah, and
nobody's talking about him
because Collins wasn't in.
Yeah, that's true. But I've watched every game on obviously on Game Pass, gone back and watched, and Cam Curl really does mask a lot of the deficiencies on defense. He has done an incredible job of staying on the field, doing his job, and being in the right place at the right time. And I think he is somebody who deserves a lot of credit for the way that this defense has been playing over the last 4-game stretch. And make no mistake about it, I don't think that the run defense and the pass defense giving up those plays on Tuesday night there's no confusion about it. It's because Cam Curl wasn't there, and he really does do a lot in that capacity. What about you, Reed?
I already said mine.
Did I? Oh my goodness,
I did.
I'm flying.
No, it's okay. Just get the fat out of your ears, and maybe
or lack thereof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, before we get out of here, gents, let's talk about this game on Sunday. And I wanted to ask you guys, because Taylor Heineke's back. Not only him, but Kyle Allen as well. So do you? Because of what we saw on Tuesday night, and look, I know there's no such thing as moral losses, everything like that, but do you think that this team actually has a chance with number 4, number 8 behind center this weekend? Scott?
Yes, we do, because I do think that Dak hasn't actually played as well as we thought he has been since he's come back the last few games. He's throwing an interception. He threw a pick 6 to Cole Holcomb last time. He just hasn't looked it looked himself really. So he's due a Rick every game. There's something that's going to happen, and you've got to hope that we can convert that. to either a short field and push a touchdown in, or a pick six, something like that. I do think we do have a chance, but it's a slim chance, if I'm being honest.
I think that's probably indicative of what everyone in the fan base probably thinks, because it's doom and gloom. The sky is falling whenever after every single loss. It's generally how it goes. But I would agree with it that they do have a chance, and especially given the fact of how they've played these past 2 games. And they should have no business being in either one of those football games. But they find ways to still be in it and fight. And look, you could talk all you want about, yeah, but I need to see it in wins. That's fine, but the game is a meat grinder. You have to do certain things to put yourself in that position. And when you make something out of nothing like they had for the past 2 weeks, that says a lot. And so when you start getting those bullets back in the chamber, then you start building some more confidence. And that's definitely how I feel about this football game. What about you, Reed?
Yeah, I completely do. They have a chance with Taylor Heineke? Of course, we beat Tampa when Tampa was rolling. With Taylor Heineke, you always have a chance. The dude is just a gamer. Look, I don't think that he's the guy. I don't think he's the franchise quarterback, but you got to respect this guy's mindset and the way that he plays the game of football. I mean, you can tell the guy loves football. He's always going to do whatever he can to do what's best for the team and try to win that game. Does it always work out? No, but you still have a chance with him. Somebody with a gunslinger mentality like that, yeah, you always have a chance. And we're going to roll a lot better on offense. With Taylor back there, and we're going to be coming for revenge after that loss 2 weeks ago. So
yes.
Yeah, we have a chance for sure.
Yes, and one last thing before I get into your last question, Scott, because I'm sure that I wasn't sure if I wanted to ask this, but I'm going to anyway. But Antonio Gibson, he has not practiced all week long. He is still questionable for Sunday. So my question to you, Andy, what is the biggest detriment to the football team going against Dallas here? Not having AG or not having Cole Holcomb?
Oh, wow. I'm going to lean on Cole Holcomb just because AG's recent history with his fumbles and stuff. I think if he can, don't get me wrong, I really like the guy. I mean, he's come in for a lot of stick recently, and people have questioned his fumbles. And again, that's something that I've said many, many times. That is coachable. Yes, it's easy. You don't really want to do that during a season. But I would stick with the guy. You've only got, I think someone tweeted out his stats yesterday. They're unbelievable. I mean, if he could just cut out the fumbles and stuff. And again, I think that is something that is coachable. But for me, yeah, I'm going to go Holcomb because, again, he just flies under the radar. And you need players like him on the field. He will get, I mean, I used to play centre half as a soccer player, and you can pull people where you want them. You can tell them what to do. For me, Holcomb is that man. If you're not doing a job, he'll raise you up. He'll tell you where you need to be. He literally pulls all the strings there. I think he's going to be the biggest miss of this Washington football team come Sunday.
That's a fantastic point. What do you think, Scott?
I'm going to go the other way. I think AG is going to be the biggest miss for me. I think you run game. You have to push forward. I'm not certain that if it starts getting out there and the defense is two touchdowns behind, I'm not certain putting it in Taylor's hands is going to be the answer. We've had a week of him not practicing. We know what he looked against Dallas last time. He just seemed to go into his shell, and he has games like this from time to time where he just decides, I'm going to put it all on my back and become Brett Favre and start throwing the ball down the people who aren't open and throw interceptions. So I think you have to have that dominant run game, and that's what saw us through that 4-win patch where we had a dominant run game. We had a 1-2 with J.D. McKissick as well going forward, and it worked. Next man up mentality, really, for that. Was it Williams? Is he the third choice? Was there the other day?
Jonathan Williams, yes, sir. Yeah, and it's a big question because Dallas on defense right now against rushing the football, they're 15th. They give up on average 111 yards on the ground. And so the way I look at this and the way that they run the football, they're second in points per game. They're sixth in rushing yards. They're sixth in passing yards. Okay? It's Cole Holcomb that's the biggest detriment, because if the O-line is creating holes the size of semi-trucks, doesn't really matter who's running the football at that point. You're going to be able to get that yardage. But with the linebacking core, it's very hard for that defensive line to keep the linebackers clean. And so you have to have good linebacker play to be able to stifle that running attack. For me, it's Cole Holcomb. What do you think, Reed?
I mean, obviously both of them are huge, but since we had two people say Cole Holcomb, one person say Antonio Gibson, you really can't go wrong with this answer. So I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson as well. Scott, I'm on your side. We are the good side. We're the winning side. Everybody loves us. We're tremendous. But Antonio Gibson, like, just what he can bring to this offense. And as you mentioned, during that 4-game winning streak, he may not have put up amazing yards every week, but he was consistent. He was running the ball. He was getting a whole lot of carries. He was getting over 25 almost every game. And when you can do that and you can really wear down the clock, it takes pressure off of Taylor Heineke. And plus, having somebody like him who's also a receiving threat out of the backfield and does so many things well could really kind of help stabilize Micah Parsons, who you never heard about him being Defensive Player of the Year before he played Washington. Then all of a sudden, everybody's coming out of the woodwork saying this guy's the best thing since Lawrence Taylor. Watch out, just because, and he's good. But that can kind of maybe help offset him a little bit just on some passing plays. But, I mean, both of them are huge. I mean, not having either one of them would not be good.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, to wrap this up, guys, the last 2 questions from Scott, and I absolutely love these. A new year is coming and filled with hope and optimism. With that being said, what inspired you to think this team can be successful going forward? This could be on or off the field. Example, name change, depth of squad, young talent, cap space. What do you think, Andy?
From the start of the season, I was excited about Reed said earlier, and we at the start of the season we had we had the gunslinger, we had Curtis Samuel, we had Diami Brown. We were all excited come the season. A name change was around the corner. So all that excites me. It did excite me about the team, and it still does, to be honest. I mean, I think we need to get through this season. Again, we find ourselves sitting here, and I know we've had this conversation for year after year, but I've said it many a times, and I'll say it till the cows come home. We've now got people running the football team that give me hope. If this was 2 or 3 seasons ago under Jay Greedon, I would have gone, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this. I've seen this movie 1,000 times. It's you watch Die Hard every Christmas. You're watching the same movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. Yeah. Don't sue people who disagree with you there, but. I'm now hopeful, and I've been saying it for a long time. And a few people have gotten it. I got into it on Twitter with a few people this week. They're like, "No, I'm sick and tired of waiting. I want to win now." And I keep trying to get the point across. If you stick with Ron Rivera and you stick with what we've got, I think we will win. I see it as baby steps. And I see we have improved from last season and the season before. And I think, what do? Do you keep every 2 seasons going, yep, it's not working, let's rip this up again and start? No, unfortunately, as fans, it's terrible.
That's what we've always done.
Yeah, we've always done it, and we've started again. Whether we were this offensive coordinator, we would be head coach, whether it be off the field stuff. We have to be patient, and we can, like I said, we can all be angry on a Sunday, and we all do get angry on a Sunday. Me, you guys here, we all do it. But I'm more hopeful now than I have been since I've been a fan since 1999. We have to believe in what Ron Rivera is doing, and we just have to trust the man. The draft's really important. This guy's obviously, Kyle, you're going to know more than me. I don't watch a lot of college football. You're going to know how important this draft is coming up. A lot of people are saying, if we don't go quarterback, where do we go? I'm really, really interested to see what the offseason now holds for Washington, because we do probably have a few more holes to fill than I would like. And I'm interested to see what would come out of the draft and where we'll go. Do we look in free agency? But all the things I was hopeful at the start of the season, I'm still hopeful that we have a good end to the season. And then I'm even more hopeful that'll be the 3rd year now of Ron Rivera coming up. And I want us to see us kick on. And hey, we're going to be called the Washington Red Wolves or whatever we're going to be called. So a new names. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Carl. But we're going to be called something. So yeah, I am really, really hopeful. It sounds bad to say right now because we're off a couple of defeats, but look at where we've been in the past from our fandom to where we are now, and the future is definitely brighter.
Yeah, absolutely, I would agree with you there. Now, Scott, I have to bounce that question to you, sir. I know that you had it was energized. I know you have your own thoughts about it.
Yeah, I look at this and I think 3 things or a few things. We're in year 3 of 5. Ron has always said it's a 5-year project, and we have to trust him and say it's a 5-year project. I know we want to win now. We're desperate to win now. If the QB question gets sorted in the off season, whether that's drafting a guy, whether it's getting a free agent or both, we have to go big or go home with this one. I think possibly as signing a veteran, or even having a rookie sit behind Taylor for a year. I'm hopeful because we've got a lot of cap space, which is very good. And there's prime free agents out there. I've got Russell Gage, Christian Kirk. They're a couple of wide receivers I think could make a massive difference and take pressure off Terry, because it's constantly Terry and Terry only. What's impressed me the most really with this season is we found out what the squad depth is like. The O-line has been unreal, really, when you think about it. 5th center? Keith Ishmael's up, he's doing well. Wes Schweitzer's versatile, can play at any position, be it left guard, right guard, center. That's been really good to see, because that you can rely on these guys now in an NFL game. And in the past, we haven't always had that. We've never had that depth behind. Once you see starters get injured or go out, it's very questionable. Can we win this? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the name change coming up, which is fantastic. And then hopefully the last thing of all is we can get across to see you guys, because that's the most important for me. You know, I've got to get out there to see you. It was disturbed because of COVID this year, and things went on that shouldn't have gone on. We were trying to even push a submarine from a workout to pick Andy up on that way. That didn't work out. So we've got to do it. We've got to do it next season.
Yeah.
Week 1, let's go for it, or week 2, whichever's the first home game. Let's do it. Let's do it, and let's go big. And next season, I think, I'm always hopeful. I'm kind of pessimistic towards the end of this season now as I get there, but I think in the new year I'll start picking myself up again, and by March I'll be full of joy and wanting. And we're going 17-0. You know, that's where we're gonna go.
Hey, my man, that's what I love. What inspires me to think that this team is going to be successful down the road? The fact that everyone had given them an excuse last season, saying with COVID and all the injuries that they had faced and everything, and they're kind of around the same spot that they are now. They've battled their way into the season. They started out terribly. They won 4 straight against very, very good competition. There is no excuses attached to it. Not only that, like Scott said, all the injuries to the offensive line, to quarterback happening again, and then seeing Taylor not only taking his opportunity and doing well with it, but being somewhat consistent in a capacity and getting this team ability to win football games. It shows you that they have fight, they have will, and most importantly, they have leadership. In years past, when you watched the Jay Gruden era, it was a skeleton of a team. There was no soul with the team. Now there is a soul, and you see it in every matchup. When they are down, they come back fighting. They have pride. There's something there, and I think now that gives me credence. That gives me confidence that in the future that this is a successful football team, and they're working to get there. Like I said, you got to learn how to lose before you learn how to win, and they're slowly turning that corner. And because of this season, that's why I feel that way. Definitely, without a doubt. Scott, Andy.
I didn't want to answer.
I didn't think you would. I thought you were still on mute. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, because no. Same thing that you guys all said. I mean, pretty much you guys all hit the nail on the head. I mean, we got the right people in place, and you guys are right. Your coach, you kind of take on the identity of your coach, and Kyle, you alluded to this. We really don't give up. We've got a lot of fight in us. That's evident. Ron is that same way. I mean, we're not out here, cheating on our wives with college chicks every week like we would be we took on the Jay Gruden's identity. So we've got a lot of hope coming on. And I still think that if we weren't decimated by injuries, this team would be one of the deepest that we've had around here in a long time. I mean, we've got some injuries, some key players that have happened at some terrible times, and the defense started to pick it up a little bit. You saw that during that winning streak, and then COVID happened, and then all this stuff. And so everything's kind of started trending down. Played a hot Dallas team that was playing very well, and but we're there. I mean, we're a lot better than us fans are all disappointed, but we had a first place schedule. We've had a very tough time, and we're still right there, right around 500. That's where we should be next season. I expect us to take another jump. Draft needs kind of line up with us a little bit. There's some good wide receivers, good offensive tackles. There's some good pass rushers that we could get in the mid rounds that could kind of help out with some stuff. The quarterback situation's a little tough, but I trust Ron. They did say that we have to find our guy this offseason. So that's what gives me hope. And on top of that,
are you guys all in for quarterback this season, or is there someone else?
You have to.
Is it the usual Washington? Are you in for, what would you reckon, veteran or draft? Carl, you know better than most of them. Draft or veteran?
Either one. This draft I would be in for Derek Carr. I mean, obviously you want to go for Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson if Deshaun Watson is, if he's not going to be in trouble. But I mean, hey, if they like somebody in the draft, I mean, I'm not too high on a lot of them, but they know more than me. If they fall in love with somebody in the early round, go for it. Yeah, 100%. But you have to get somebody this year to give you at least a fighting chance.
Yeah, I think it's veteran the way that this team is built currently, because it was a renovation. It wasn't a complete overhaul. And so based on where these guys are in their contracts, especially Terry McLaurin, you got to get a quarterback in here now that is capable of doing well immediately. And the rookie quarterbacks, you got to get lucky. And that's what it always comes down to. I mean, nobody thought Justin Herbert would be the best performing one of that class at the point. You know what I mean? So a lot has to happen for you with the rookie quarterbacks. I would love for that to be the case. I know everyone wants the franchise quarterback, but that's a dime a dozen, man. Look at the Patriots. The Patriots got one in the 6th round just by luck, and that's generally what happens. I wanted to thank you two. You guys have been probably our 2 most supporting fans of this, not only of the team, but of the show. Obviously, Andy was the start of it and got to meet Scott, and it's unfortunate that we're going to have to wait 2 years after the fact to be able to meet you guys in person. But I wanted to thank you guys for your support and for this coming on for this special holiday episode that we have, because it's a family gathering, and there's no one better than the UK boys. I wanted to thank you guys.
Yeah. You guys aren't fans, you're friends.
Right.
Then look at that sweater. The guy gets it.
He does
The
get
guy
it.
gets it.
All right, boys. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, brother. I'll see you guys. Thank you, Scott.
See ya.
Take care. Guys,
All right,
thanks very
brother.
much. Bye.
All right, everybody. We just spoke with Andy Burrows and Scott Hartley, and that was fantastic as always.
Yeah. Can't believe that was Scott's first time on the show.
I know. For how long he's been
For how
here,
long
it's
we've known
absolutely
him and
incredible.
everything. Oh, yes.
And now we are joined by our next line of guests.
We're just
I told
getting
you,
everybody in
this
here
is a
today.
family gathering, dude. I told you
Yeah.
that. Now we are joined by George Carmi of the Full Press Coverage. How are you doing on this beautiful Christmas Eve, George?
I'm doing excellent, fellas. Merry Christmas to you guys. How you guys doing today?
Great. And a lot of news has come up over the past couple of days. And I'm not sure how you're feeling about the Cole Holcomb situation, because the title of this episode is No Cole for Christmas. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, the Colonel has a question for us. Merry Christmas, Colonel. See you on
Merry
Sunday.
Christmas, Colonel. I love you.
His question is, DeAndre Carter made the roster by the skin of his teeth this year. Has his performance this season made him more of a lock next year, George?
Oh, 100%. I really like DeAndre Carter a lot. So, we both are in the pod game, and I talked to a bunch of Eagles players or Eagles, fans around the area. And they basically were like, I can't believe DeAndre Carter is doing so well. But I think he is the player that we wanted him to be. Steve Sims, we expected Steve Sims to kind of have that like slot role, returner role. And I think he's actually rising to the occasion. Sorry, I had a little cough. But he's an unrestricted free agent. I think we should definitely make it a priority to re-sign him. I think he does create a spark from the kickoff return. And I think he's a good pass catcher too. I like DeAndre Carter a lot.
Yeah, and he's consistent and he's solid, especially given the fact that not only what he does on special teams, he is a weapon in that capacity. So, yes, that alone should get you the lock back, because that's return specialist we've been looking for a long time, and they did their research on DeAndre, and they hit it out of the park. But not only that, but going into next season, Colonel, when you're talking about possible injuries to wide receivers, you're going to need somebody that could step in your bench to give you some depth, and DeAndre Carter has proven that time and time again this season, coming up with huge, important catches. So, yes, without a doubt, he needs to be a lock to come back next season. What do you think, Reed?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big play waiting to happen. I mean, you see, like you guys said, you see that on special teams. He's made a lot more plays at receiver than I think any of us could even have dreamt of. So he's been fantastic. He can play in the slide. I've even seen him go outside, and he's beat some guys deep. So he's really somebody that you want to keep, and you really want to keep as many players together as you can going forward. I mean, just his core guys, and he's a perfect person coming in here, nearly making the Pro Bowl his first season. Come on. He's doing fantastic.
Corey's coming out. Yeah.
And now we're joined by our next guest,
everybody.
Mr. Corey Sanchez. On the Warpath is his show. How are you doing, Corey?
What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Corey.
Happy holidays, buddy.
And this is a special occasion.
Merry Christmas.
Because the Colonel has one more question for us. And, Corey, I'm going to you with this one first. Is Joey Sly our kicker when he recovers?
Yes. Man, Joey Sly, he's fly for a kicker guy, man. You gotta go. I love that dude. He's big. He embodies everything about Washington. I could drink about 6 beers with that dude. So yes, Joey Sly will be our kicker. Shout out to North Stafford High School, Stafford County, right down the way from where I'm originally from. So yeah.
Shout out to his family.
And it's not like Brian Johnson has been bad, right? But it's just like Brian just continues to have those low kicks that it just gets you worried a little bit. And with Joey, not only is he built like a tank, you're more comfortable and more confident in his ability to kick those field goals. Do you agree, George?
Yeah, I agree. I think you nailed it, Kyle. I think Brian Johnson's like ascending, still a young player, still a young kicker. And I think Sly is like established veteran. You kind of know what you get with him. So, and then honestly, with the kicking position, you don't want any question marks at all. You just want someone to walk up there, just do their job and walk off, right? So I take Sly every day.
Yeah, the best thing is being consistent as a kicker, and Sly's done it before, as we know. Obviously, all kickers end up losing their jobs at some point, and they all get a second chance. We've seen it with Washington kickers 1,000 times. So, I really like what he's shown. And has he done enough to be the guy yet? Obviously not, but he's definitely done enough to get a second chance to continue proving it.
It's the first time ever 4 dudes have all gone against a BJ. But now the next question for us is from Big
That's
Tony.
not true, Kyle.
Big Tony Shivers has a question for us, Corey. And I want to go to you this first.
Kyle.
Because the last time that we went against Dallas, Nellamore, I think is how you say his name, Nellamore, whatever it is, the defensive tackle, they ate them alive, the offensive line. And they went to work with Randy Gregory, Michael Parsons. They really got after Taylor. So Tony Shivers' question for us is, what would you do to counter Dallas's defensive front that was so dominant in the last matchup?
I'd get a time machine, unvaccinated Montez Sweat, cough in their locker rooms, and then tell them we'll see you in 10 days. We'll see you next season. That's what I do. No, in all seriousness, I think you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to seriously think about getting somebody maybe in the backfield blocking to check and everything. Maybe putting the tight end out there too. But they just kept on eating. They kept on eating us up like it was nobody's business. I really don't know if there's enough people on this roster that could actually do this confidently right now, because you look at the coaching staff is going to be down another couple of guys, and then where are you going to find these bodies at before Sunday?
Yeah, and you're right about that. And one thing I will say to kind of counter that Dallas front, they're going to have to move that pocket. They're going to have to move the offensive line left and right a whole lot against this front because, yes, Nelmore is very good, but he's more of a power guy given to us by John Carmi. I saw him put that on Twitter earlier today. And Keith Ishmael, the starting center at the moment, is moving side to side, and that's where he's at better fit. They're going to have to do that, and especially with nullifying Micah Parsons, especially because we saw how well he can rush off the edge. Every time I see him lining up at linebacker, I'm saying, thank goodness, he's out of the play. Nothing's going to happen now. We're fine. As soon as he goes to DN, there's a problem. And so if I'm there, I want them to hit the edges, make sure you're making them think. The more predictable we get, the easier it is for them. And so they have to make them think. That's my biggest thing. What about you, George?
I agree with both you guys. I think Washington kind of rested on their laurels. Like, throughout the year, we actually had a pretty good offensive line. We were kind of confident. I think we were top 5 in the league in regard to protection. Yep. So Heineke had a lot of time. I think they kind of underestimated Micah Parsons, and that caught him off guard. Yeah. I like what Corey's saying about just having an extra blocker, whether it's a tight end or, a proven running back to kind of block Heineke there. I also like what you said, Kyle. Like you said, moving the pocket. I think we should have Heineke roll out more, more do like bootlegs, kind of run outside the pocket that way. And then also kind of build in more hot reads, right? So, basically, I forget the actual saying now, but basically you throw it to where the person comes in. If someone's blitzing you in that linebacker role, you hit that open pocket right there, right? So kind of have that built in. Like if you see Micah Parsons coming and do a little audible, I'm going to hit this quick slam right over top of his head, just make him pay. Like, make it be real aggressive, or hit him with a screen if they do blitz. But I just think Washington was caught off guard, did not expect this to happen. And I think Washington will adjust. I think they'll do better this time.
Yeah, I totally do agree with you in that aspect. What about you, Reed?
Look, I'm probably going to get a lot of stuff for this, but I'm still not 110% convinced that Dallas's defensive line is really that good. I don't think that they are as good as people are making them out to be. All the announcers, everybody, we all know that they always cite Dallas, but Neville Gallimore's not a world beater. Our offensive line has had way more success against players with a lot more talent, to be completely honest with you. And I really think that our offensive line might have just had a down week. I know that you have a revolving door on the offensive line. That's never good for anybody. So I really just think that they just got to stick together, kind of get their reps right, and they kind of got to work together, because that's when your offensive lines are the best. And I really think that they can be all right. I mean, they got to do obviously everything that you guys said. But just like a mindset, like you can't go out there and be scared of these. Yeah, they had success, but that happens every week. I mean, just have a short memory and go out there and just play your game.
Yeah, and especially given the fact that Cosme wasn't here for the last matchup as well. So
and he's literally the mountain from Game of Thrones. I heard.
He does. Dude, when he walked out of the locker room at training camp, we thought that was the mountain.
I did. I asked him about that.
He's huge.
Yeah,
I didn't know that he was playing ball.
Now, big old thick boy.
Our next question, I'm gonna go to you first here, Reed. This is from our guy Paul Murphy in Scotland, and he asks, if Santa could bring the team a gift for Christmas, what would it be and why?
Like, does that have to be this week?
No.
Because I would just say like a franchise quarterback would be dope. I'd be into that. Yeah, that would solve a lot of issues.
What about you, George?
He stole mine. Franchise quarterback's the way to go. Honestly, I think, if if you give us a gift, I'll take William Jackson back, man. I think we need our defensive back depth is going to be kind of tested this week. I think CeeDee Lamb's a good player. I think Amari Cooper's pretty solid too. So without him and Landon Collins, that does kind of create a deficit. But I do want to put it out there though, like I don't like the defeatist attitude that I see on Twitter sometimes. Was, hey, we're playing the Cowboys automatic L. Like, where are y'all coming from, dude? Like, I would never go to war with people that have that mentality at all, man. Like, any given Sunday, it's crazy, dude. Like, I played ball. We all did probably, and it's like, dude, why do you have that mentality at all? Like, the Cowboys beat us that 1 week. Here we go, round 2. Let's see what happens this go around. So let's game against them. Let's beat them. So I'm not really worried about it. But
it's like they turned off their TV after the first half.
Isn't it funny what 1 week can do on Twitter?
Yep.
Like, remember before that, the 4 games, it was, we're stomping Dallas. Dallas doesn't even know what's coming for them. And then all of a sudden after the half, it was like, we're terrible. We're horrible. Why do we even play? Why are we even suiting up?
Well, remember before the bye week, Reed?
But it's just,
I mean, the NFL is like a 17-chapter book, right? So every chapter got a new story, new twists and turns over there, and people just have really overreact for everything that happens. Just be patient, let it play out. But I'm not scared of the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Giants. We can go on a 3-0 burner. I think realistically 2-1 probably. We'll probably beat the Giants in one of these next 2 is what I'm thinking. But I'm not scared of the Cowboys. Like, I know they beat us pretty bad, but I'm not scared.
Last time I was scared of the Cowboys was that night that Kyle and Hall dressed up as Ennis and Earl from Brokeback Mountain. Remember
That's
that?
awesome.
But other than that, I'm not scared of them.
It's not funny.
You said Jerry Jones and Tony Romo?
Jerry Jones and Dean Blandino, more like it, dude.
Oh.
My goodness.
Jesus, yeah, it's true.
Corey, what about you? What would be a gift that you would want that Santa to drop off for the Washington football team? Like, do you think you agree with Reed and George that it's a franchise quarterback? I know that's what everyone wants, but I'm more of a simple-minded person. What do you think?
I think I need Santa to bring a rabbit's foot the size of FedEx Field and plant it everywhere that the Washington football team's organization is, that it will grow and fester. We'll find this franchise quarterback. We'll find competence in leadership, which we have it in some parts. And then, we won't be a laughing stock anymore. We will be people that, we're sitting here laughing, smoking our cigars and everything. And then the commoners will come back and they'll be like, oh yeah, we've been football team fans or insert name fans the whole time. I
knew we were going to win.
We've been here. I'll be like Charlemagne the God. I'll pull my glasses down like, oh, what'd you do? Like what? That's what I need. I need a rabbit's foot and the good spirit. I need the spirit.
Dude, I'll tell you,
just go around.
I'll tell you are so right about that, because there's a buddy of ours. I won't say his name, but when the Caps went on to win the Stanley Cup, when they got to that first round 7th game, he was saying, you guys are stupid for believing in them. They're going to lose as always. They are going to suck. You guys are hyping yourself up for nothing. They go to win the Stanley Cup, and he's acting like the biggest Caps fan in the world. I love that team. I've always been a fan. Yeah. But going to your point, that's just kind of how Washington fans are. Regardless of what anybody wants to say, we are a pretty bad sports town, because the only time we want to root for a team is when they're winning, and that's not the way it works. You got to have loyalty.
Especially when it comes to the football team. I mean, this is a football town. So, like, with the football team, it gets a little hectic,
Yeah, it does. And I would
agree. The Chicken Littles out there.
Chicken Littles out there. Now, for me, what gift I would want, Paul, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, all right? But I want them to kind of take everyone by surprise a little bit and announce that the name is Washington Warriors. I know that
that'd be awesome. I love that.
Jason Wright kind of came out and said that wasn't going to be the name, because I feel like it would be too easy. But if Jason is as smart as I think he is, I think that'd be one way to get people off your trail a little bit. So if I'm going to ask Santa for anything, let's make sure we're the Washington Warriors. It's the best one of the bunch. I don't care what anybody says.
It would be. But
Kyle, it's so funny. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Remember when we were at training camp and he was telling us the story of the Guardians and how they were getting sued because they didn't dot all their T's dot their I's and cross their T's because Golden State would have a field day with that, Kyle. So
they wouldn't. They only have it for basketball. They don't have everything. You know what I'm saying?
The Guardians was a roller derby team, and they're suing the Cleveland Indians.
That's not the reason why. It's because they flew through it. They didn't take their time to do it.
Exactly.
Yes, to your point. Exactly. But look, that's why we took as long as we did, so there wouldn't be any issues, right, Reed? But now,
no, it's not, Kyle.
Go.
But
Go.
kind of
we're
real
deciding.
quick,
I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say it's funny. I was kind of daydreaming the same thing the other day. I was like, you know what? How nice would it be if we ended up being Washington Warriors? This was that smoke show to
It's
kind
so
of get
much
us
better
off.
than anything
It's
else.
so much better than anything else,
Yeah.
right? It hits it hits everything,
Right.
right? Still have that, like, you know, I don't even get, you know, I don't get, you know, that imagery from a
Right.
previous team, you know, armed forces, just, you know, that spirit, you know, it's awesome. It's great. Burgundy and gold works out perfectly. Washington Warriors.
The whole
is a home
cancer, the
run.
breast cancer situation. That
Yep.
I mean,
Oh,
we
man.
helped. Yeah.
Now, Corey, the
I-
next. Sorry, Corey.
I was about to say I got my logo picked out for the next name. I got a betting favorite, and I'm like, look, I'm not gonna tell anybody who it is, but I've got a logo picked out already. So I need it to go this way. I just got to. I got to, y'all. So I got my name. It ain't Warriors, but I'm like, I need something to go right.
Don't
for
tell me it's
Let's-
RW. All right, now our next question is from Orange Crush 92, which is one of our biggest fans. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it here today with us, but he's got a little bit of a tense question for us. He says, hypothetically, if the opportunity presented itself, would you trade Antonio Gibson? And what kind of offseason trade capital is he worth, do you think, George?
So would I trade Antonio Gibson? Probably not, because I don't think the compensation would be that good, right? I think, you know, coming back around again to be a third round pick, maybe something in regard to that. And I think he's worth more than that, at least to our team. I do think he's pretty dynamic, and I think he could be I think he can be like a 15 touch kind of running back. I did say it on a tweet the other day, and I know my call loves Gibson, but I think he's a good complimentary back. I think Gibson is a good player. I think we need another like a Javonte Williams, AJ Dillon type to kind of be that bruiser to kind of complement it a little bit. And I think if we have both of those, that could take over games in other aspects, right? Like, let's say like we're playing a team that has like the 30th ranked run defense. It's like, you know, we're not going to pass this game. We're just going to pound it down their throats. We have that tool in our kit, which is that being multiple. So I do want to invest in a running back, but I wouldn't trade Antonio Gibson, especially for a cheaper price.
Yeah, and that's a great way to answer, because essentially that was his last question. Is a lot of people have been saying we need to draft or hire an additional running back this offseason at this point, and do you agree? Which I would. With your assessment, I'm pretty sure you do. What about you, Reed?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that you can never have enough running backs, playmakers, really, just on offense, especially somebody like George said, somebody that's bigger, somebody that can really just pound the ball. That's a pure running back. Antonio Gibson, love the guy. He's got a lot of potential, and he's still a big play waiting to happen. But he's just not that running back right now. He could be. I mean, like we talked about like a million times, Logan Paulson has said that this dude has the potential. He has the ability to be a top 5 running back in the NFL. He does. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got everything. It's just going to take time. He's not there yet. So there's nothing wrong with bringing in another body that can really come in there and help out.
Yeah,
but I would not trade him.
I wouldn't trade him, especially given the fact this is his 3rd year coming up. And so this is his rookie year deal. He's getting paid very, very little compared to what other running backs are. And other running backs, when they do go up for their contract, it's not like it used to be. They don't get paid a whole bunch of money. And so would the bringing back of what the assets would be from Antonio Gibson at trade, would that equal what he would produce for you in this offense for the amount that he's getting paid? And I don't believe that to be the case, because it's still if you're doing it for a draft capital, right? If you're doing it for a 3rd or 4th rounder, it's no guarantee that person's going to pan out, i.e. Diami Brown, you know what I'm saying, in the first year. So I'd much rather keep Antonio Gibson. And yes, we do need some help at running back in the offseason. I am very concerned about J.D. McKissick. I love him as a number 2 running back. I think he still needs to be on this football team. But if there's something dire, something very bad going on with J.D., which I'm really concerned about, I hope it's not. But if it is, yes, we're going to need some help there, because I love me some J.D. What about you, Corey?
Yeah, I always say this about Antonio Gibson. I say he's too talented to put the ball on the carpet. So, and with that is, I think you just have to have somebody work with him, whether that's Randy Jordan or that's Jennifer King, or if that's somebody in the off season. If he needs to go and call Tiki Barber, I think we can do a GoFundMe page and find him and say we'll meet in Roanoke and just teach him how you got over the yips. So I think, I think that we overvalue our talent too at an extent. Like I do think, kind of like what George said, I do think he has a 3rd round pick. I don't think that's the case with Gibson. He does have a 3rd round value on him, in my opinion. But sometimes we'll try to sell. It was like Landon Collins for the longest time, right? We would always try to be. We didn't get him. I'd take a second for him in the minute. I'm like, yeah, you would take a second for him. But anybody will for
anybody
Foles,
would, right?
Yeah.
outside of this, like So, but about Antonio Gibson, man, I think he is a key cog in this offense, and you can't argue he's your second best offensive player when healthy. And it's not even close.
And I know that everyone keeps talking about Tiki Barber coming in talking to Antonio Gibson about his fumbling issues. I think the opposite. I think Ron Rivera should give Peanut Tillman a call and say, hey, come talk to AG because you know how to hit the ball out of their hands. So what pissed you off as a defender? What kind of techniques were being used to stop you from punching the ball out? And let's get Antonio Gibson up to date with that. I'd rather go to like an enemy kind of in a way, if you're thinking about it in that aspect, like what do they like to do and learn that kind of thing. That's where I would go down the route with that.
Yeah, no, Tiki Barber's not a Washington enemy.
No, you know what I mean.
I know. I'm just saying.
You're ridiculous. Now, our last question is from Eddie, our guy. Thank you, Eddie. He says, if we lose this game to Dallas and the playoff hopes are dashed, does Washington football team need to turn to more of the young guys to see what they have in them, i.e. Sammis Reyes, Jarrett Patterson, and Dax Milne? George.
Let me process that a little bit. So I think you continue to play. I think it depends on injuries as well, right? So if Antonio Gibson is pretty banged up and his shin's hurting and he's just kind of like, overachieving right now, it's just kind of gritting it out. Maybe you kind of take back some of his snaps or even bench him the last game, right? I want to see Heineke play the rest of the year. I think we definitely don't know what we have with him yet. That'll be pretty interesting to see. There are some, you also got to think about it big picture wise. There's some players that have incentives if they hit certain benchmarks to get paid a lot too. So obviously we want to see them go out there and play. But yeah, I think it doesn't hurt, right? I think some game film, maybe week 17, if we are out of it, maybe start pulling it back a little bit, but I wouldn't do it like a mass exodus where like you're risking injuring players or something like that, right? So people that are banged up, pull them out. For the most part, keep competing, keep winning, go for it. That's how I'm not a tanker like some people are. So that's how I am.
I would agree, George. What about you, Corey?
Yeah, George, I'm right there with you, man. I say run on, see what the end's going to be. You got 9 wins that you can possibly get on the table. You don't chicken out. Nobody put the baby in the corner. You go out there and win as many games as you can. Because at the end of the day, the draft, it's a crapshoot. Let's be honest with you. It's a lot of valuation, but it is rolling the dice. You're going to the casino. So, I would – now, if we are out of it, I don't see any point in putting somebody who's been walking with one leg out there. Let that boy get healthy, and we'll see you in August, or we'll see you in minicamp, right? But, I think it would be a great experience for Dax, for John Bates, people who have shown a little sparkle this season that they could possibly have something to build on and going into the future. And we're looking like, wow, we have this. Oh my goodness, what can we do? But we saw the same thing at the end of 2019 too, right? Because we thought our big three was going to be Strip Club Simba,
Haskins,
and Terry, and Sims, and all these people.
Various guys, Jesus.
Darius
I got two things
He's
to
a nice
say
guy.
now.
He seems like a nice guy.
So let me say one thing. Sorry to keep jumping on. I think it has a residual effect too. I think if we finish the season on an upswing, 9 wins, 8 wins, whatever it is, I think it does make the team go into the offseason. Okay, we were pretty close. We were a couple injuries away. We didn't have Logan Thomas.
And that's a success after last year.
It's a success. We improved it for last year. I think, all the offseason talk, you start hearing the positive, like pundits start saying, Washington's a team on the rise, and the team starts believing in that too. So I do think we should not completely take and, finish off strong. And then Darius Geis, I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but dude, he'd still be on our roster right now. If he wasn't such an idiot, he's the exact running back that we need, a power running back to pitch the ball out of the backfield. It would have been a great compliment to Gibson, and it sucks.
He would have gotten
idiot.
hurt though.
Yeah, probably. That's true. That's true.
ACL or something.
I agree.
But yeah, no, I'll just say it real fast, Kyle. As fans, I think we always want a higher draft pick because it's sexier. Just to be honest, you can get the better prospects. But you really think Ron Rivera is gonna tank? No, they play every game to win. That's what they're gonna do, and that's what you want to see. I want to watch Washington win games. So yeah, and like you said, building off of last year, with the playoff berth and winning the NFC, if they finish around 500 or a little bit or over 500 or just under, I think that's a successful season based off of everything that's happened this year. So
yeah, this is a really hard and difficult question to answer, Eddie, because Ron Rivera talked about last episode when he came into this team. He said, you have to control your division, and these are divisional games coming up. But that being said, you don't want to risk Terry tearing his ACL off of a injured kind of leg or his head or anything like that.
Call him Taryn McLaurin.
Yeah, what did I say, Taryn?
No, but I'm leading.
Oh, that's a great one, dude. Good job. You don't have many of those.
No, never.
But you don't want to risk those guys because you know that is your future, and hopefully Terry does want to come back here, and I don't think that he doesn't. You know what I mean? So in that capacity, yes, I understand, but as long as there is a chance, I don't care if it's 1%, I don't care if it's 0.5%, you fight to get into the dance because that's all you need to do. We saw it with the New York Giants. We saw it with the Ravens when nobody gave them a chance. As long as you go in hot, as long as you start on a route, because that 4-game win streak, we looked really good. Who says that we can't start a 4-game win streak right now? And that's my whole thought process with this is because there is a confidence being built with the fact that you had no reserves. You had 40 players on your roster for that game on Tuesday night, and you still had a chance with 3 minutes left in that football game. Nobody gave you a shot. A lot of your own fans didn't. And for that reason, I think you need to stay with it. Keep fighting, man, because I don't want to do anything else. I really don't.
If anybody knows about fighting to get into the dance, it's Kyle. Kyle beat up 4 security guards to get into junior homecoming, and that was a show. So listen to this guy.
You're ridiculous. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. I want to say Merry Christmas to you two. You two of the best in the business. Hardest working guys, smartest guys. I don't think anyone has more one-liners than Corey.
Corey's hilarious.
No. Corey's literally just a walking quote.
A lot of Medea references, too. It's pretty impressive.
Hey, George, don't do that. Don't do that, George. Don't do that.
That Medea line killed me about Cam Newton. I was not expecting that.
That was hilarious.
Dude,
it was great.
It was like a punch in the
Tell her I'm back.
All right, everybody. Yeah. I'm Kyle.
I'm depressed.
Hey,
Sorry about that, man.
We will see you guys on Monday. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you get to spend it with your family and it's normal. I wanted to say prayers out to Rio. I hope you get better, my brother. If you do listen to this, I know if not everybody knows, but he's going through something right now. So I hope Rio is gone well and healthy. And then also to Shazer Everett in the car accident last night. His passenger actually passed away. Thoughts and prayers with him and his family and her family as well. That's a terrible, terrible situation. You never want to have something like that go down during Christmas time. It's supposed to be happy, but, because that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And every
always
Christmas
a holiday
time,
season.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's horrible for that to happen. But that being said, we're playing the Cowboys on Sunday, everybody. Let's get up. Let's get hype. Hopefully you guys have all your new gifts and everything ready for the game on Sunday, all right? We'll see you guys then. Washington football. Woo! All right, everybody. Good job, dude. Washington football. Woo! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notified when anything new is uploaded to the channel. Also, we just launched the BurgundyZone.com. You can go there and find all of our latest news, articles, and the latest episodes that are uploaded. Again, we also have the Discord chat server, where all of our VIP folks are in, like Andy Burrows, Scott Hartley, Sergio Martin is in there as well. Don't miss out on the Discord chat server. Go and check that out. Until next time, everybody, Washington football. Woo!